Hello and welcome to this episode of Scope. I'm Tracy Pa. Over the past 15 months, the focus of the Fisheries and Marine Resources Ministry has been on refining and consolidating the work being done by the National Fisheries Authority of Papua New Guinea, which has undergone significant organizational reforms. These efforts align with broader sectoral reform initiatives aimed at ensuring that the fisheries and marine resources sector contributes significantly to the renewable resource sector's target of a 70% GDP contribution by 2030. The NFA is implementing programs to expand commercial activities in non-tuna sectors, primarily coastal and inshore fisheries resources. In pursuing this endeavor, the NFA Managing Director and members of the NFA Board recently visited West New Britain Province to see for themselves some initiatives being undertaken through provincial government and private sector partnership involving local people.
On 10 April, at a market consultation for developing non-tuna markets, NFA Managing Director Justin Ilakini said broadening the fisheries sector to one that should not be dependent on tuna is a task that comes with big challenges. He emphasized that many initiatives have been undertaken in efforts to broaden the non-tuna sector. However, not much success has been reported. However, Ilakini informed participants that NFA would ensure to expand the productive capacity of the non-tuna sector through significant changes.
And there are two things that we are doing, and everything comes under these two things: structural reforms and legislative changes. We are modernizing the fisheries management plans. We are changing the management plans to modernize them. That comes under legislative changes. With the current regulatory framework that we have in place and the legislations that we have in place, it doesn't provide us that room to expand and allow for capital injection into the non-tuna sector.
On 17 April, members of the NFA Board visited the Kimbe Fisheries Seaport and Marigold Limited, a facility that participates in aquaculture, especially of sea cucumber breeding and rearing. Led by Chairman Laurie William, the board were given a tour of the facility that allowed them insight into the workings behind such a complex fishery.
We've been deliberating on a lot of the applications on the board. And a lot of the time we make decisions on the board without being well informed. So moving forward, you will notice that the board will be going around in a lot of the coastal areas to see local investments or plant facilities, so that when we make policies or we deliberate on policies matters, that we are being well informed and to make decisions going forward. Under the leadership of the managing director and the board, we've endorsed a aquaculture development plan, and that's come out of the 10-year sector plan that this board with the management implemented 3 years ago, launched 3 years ago, and are implementing now, and we're going to implement that in the next 10 years.
Chinese company Marigold Limited is a development partner of the West New Britain provincial government. The company has been in operation for 3 years, with 21 locations in Kimbe supported by local communities. Their operations include 50 sea cucumber farms.
As the thank you, NFA MD, board members, and the chairman, you shall SME notified request from me come to invest this meeting.
According to NFA's Managing Director, West New Britain is a leading maritime province in regards to facilitating the rollout of important government development priorities. Ilakini also joined the NFA board and visited some sea cucumber farms along the northern shoreline of the province.
West New Britain province has been a leading maritime province in terms of rolling out important government development priorities that the government has directed the sector through the board to roll out. And yesterday was a testament of some of those important initiatives that the National Fisheries Authority has been rolling out in terms of responding to the government directive to broaden the sector that should not be dependent on tuna, but must be broadened to also capture and promote the effective and meaningful participation of our people in other non-tuna sectors. You will note that sectors such as coastal fisheries, inland fisheries, and aquaculture constitute almost 98% of our people. You find them in those sectors, not in tuna fishery.
Ilakini says his visit of the farms and tour of the marigold facility reported that the survival rate of sea cucumbers is now around 60%. He says this means the future of sea cucumbers fishery in Papua New Guinea is promising. He commended the West New Britain provincial government, administration, and its hard-working farmers for their efforts in this fisheries space.
This new initiative, mainly for us in the province as well too, we are accustomed to the natural way of harvesting bitsamia. But this is a new concept that our private sector partner, Marigold, has come up with and has brought this idea to us in the province, and our government has supported it. And we have an MOU with Marigold to support Marigold to roll out this. And after 2 years, we have seen that there's a lot of interest that has come about from our coastal communities. But initially, as you have seen during your visit yesterday, Marigold is concentrating on the northern shoreline of New Britain Island, West New Britain. But there is more interest for people on the southern end as well too.
It's been 2 years since the provincial government partnered with Marigold Limited to roll out their sea cucumber program. However, there has been significant interest from many coastal communities, many seeking to participate in meaningful income-generating business opportunities.
Ol Marigold kam kimbra pislama lo kam pridim lastia lo sana pimisan lo kautim ol gimi pla lo ol shit ol baby pislama ol gimi pla lo first round ol gimi pla pastem lo 2500 ol gimi pla okay bien pla lo kautim gol to gimi pla haulo lo kautin haulo wasim net kirim net na haulo luki size go big pla ba praksin lusim tamblo lo solwara baksin di pla supply kin ba kamla ban pla lo kautim ol gimi pla tu pla time ala lo Marigold okay na tu pla time go finish na pelu kimo semol tatara pelu ko simol tambro ba pelu ko timol al ba play ko timol lo ba go big club pelu salim time go Christmas tree ya na tara pelu kan so work am api mo sampina destroy na pla ola lo NFA kana lo putin pelu ko tim.
It has been 4 years and the NFA's ban on harvesting sea cucumber is still tightly in place. Commercializing this sector could significantly be a game changer for Papua New Guinea, as in the past during open season, the sea cucumber fishery benefits over 500,000 families who participate.
It's very promising for people now to go into that activity where they don't need to depend and put pressure on the wild stocks anymore. We can start to commercialize a fishery that was prone to boom and bust cycles. So the future of a fishery where most of our people depend on looks very bright. Though we have closed it for the last 4 years because of the fact that we want to see alternative options and initiatives that can help us to come up with better options for our people, where we should not open a fishery just to close it in 6 months' time. And I think it's important to note that this fishery alone has the greatest impact on the lives of our coastal communities. When the fishery, in those years where fisheries, the fishery was open, around 40 million kina goes directly into the pockets of our people.
Level, we would like to thank, the management of National Fisheries, the provincial administrator, for, it's implementing the sector plan that we launched 3 years ago. And these are the government policies that we're implementing. What probably we need to do now is, what's the way forward? MD, from the board's point of view, we will support the team and West New Britain in terms of developing that concept moving forward.
In pursuing the agenda to broaden the fisheries sector, particularly in developing the non-tuna sector, the NFA has undergone significant organizational reforms. MD Lakini highlights that the authority's new management plans will be more proactive, forward-looking and encompassing of the changes in the market.
Within NFA, we've restructured ourselves for the last 18 months. We will not be the same kind of NFA that you have seen in the last 20 years. We will be a different NFA. We will be an NFA that is more conducive and responsive to the industry. We will be more consultative, and we will respond to changes, and we'll have to respond to change quickly. And in terms of TVWAN, in meeting your requirements and your needs and queries, we will improve on that.
After the break, late tennis makes an impression, and later legendary John Okul shares the Hull Kingston Rovers experience. Lake Tennis Club has slowly established itself as a club to look to when picking the national team for the international events, contributing 3 junior players to Team PNG in the recent Southern Regional Junior Championship in Fiji. PNG juniors returned home with 14 medals, a testament of the club's development pathway and junior development program. Glenn Kabasang, president of Tulay Tennis Club, shed light into revival of Tulay Tennis and how the tennis club is progressing with its tournament and junior development programs as the president of Tennis PNG Association. Barbara Stubbings praised them for their improvement in contributing to Team PNG.
The establishment of Lay Tennis Club back in 2018 was a start to something special. With no established tennis competitions in the recent past in Lay, Glenn Kabasuk took it upon himself to establish the Lay Tennis Club. Since then, the tennis club has taken baby steps as it learns from the challenges it encountered along the way. After 5 years, and the LTC has already produced future PNG tennis representative players. Proud Kabasuk recounts a brief history on how Lay Tennis Club came about and what inspired him to initiate the Lay Tennis Club.
I started the club, Lay Tennis Club, back in 2018 with my wife. And before that, it had been maybe more than 20 years since any tournament had happened in PNG, in Lay. We're trying to trace back when was the last, but it's hard to find information on when would be the last time there was representation, because there hasn't been tennis program in Lay for many years.
While he is not sure whether there was any established tennis competition prior to the establishment of Lay Tennis Club, he is happy that the Lay Tennis Club has been progressing well and making huge strides within the tennis community in the country. Kabasuk said he has seen the results of his commitment to the cause, with junior players from Lay do well at the national events. as the club's progress was rewarded with its players making the national teams and playing in the international events. Kabasug said Lae Tennis Club first had 2 of its players participated in the Pacific Junior Tennis Regional event in 2023. This year, 2024, 1 more player joined them, bringing the number up to 3 in a significant growth of LTC's representation in the junior national team. The president of Lae Tennis Club said these junior players making the PNG junior tennis team to the South Pacific Regional Qualifier is a significant achievement for the tennis club as they look to contribute to Team PNG and bring home positive results.
It's a significant improvement from last year, but it's a great milestone because once again, Lae Tennis Club is able to produce talent and to contribute to the PNG team. And at the end of the day, it's we're one team. Team PNG, and if Lae Tennis Club is able to contribute by producing talent and reinforcing the team with competitive players, then that's great for PNG.
The president of PNG Tennis Association, Barbara Stubbings, has seen significant improvement with Lae Tennis Club. She applauds them for their contribution to the national team. She made this comment ahead of the recent Southern Regional Junior Tennis Championship in Fiji.
Lae Tennis Club is doing really, really well. We had 2 players last year, first time ever that they made the team, and this year 1 more. So they're improving, and it's fantastic. They can only get better.
Promoting tennis in Lae was it started back in 2018, and through the years, from the limited facilities that we don't really have our own club, but we have been able to establish good relationships with our partners there, the Lae Chinese Club, who were able to lend us their 2 tennis courts there to use for free, so we could run our free junior development coaching there. And we've also had a good relationship with the Lae Golf Club because they have 2 tennis courts as well, and that's where we run our tournaments, which we've been running since 2019. Currently we're having discussions on how to keep up with this growth. We're going to need facilities, and right now we're borrowing the courts. So one way to do that is, and that's where we've had discussions with Barbara and PNG Tennis, is that how we can get support, grants, and in order to see if we get funding to increase the sporting facility of tennis in Lae. And once we get that, then we've already got the programs in place. We'll be able to cater for more juniors.
Diane Hakena, mother of junior tennis sensation Kolita Akena, also praised the junior tennis players from Lae. She said they performed really well at the championship and were competitive against their opponents. These achievements for the LTC have come at cost. Adults and young players have put in commitment, and so has been the president of Lae Tennis Club, Tournament and Pathways Development Officers. Kabasug said the lure of giving tennis enthusiasts and young children in Lae an alternate sport that driven him to establish LTC, as he aims to make the LTC even better in the coming years. However, Kabasug said there is still an issue with the venue. Lae Tennis Club doesn't have a permanent venue to run its games, and this has been the challenge over the years.
But we've always, from the beginning, our dream there was that it would be tennis in Lae would hopefully be 2, 3, 4 times bigger than what it is right now. We're currently in discussions of how we can. The growth is exponential. Every year is growing. Every year we're adding to our achievements, adding to our milestones, and it's a matter of just trying to keep up with all of this. And we've got a good relationship with our sponsors back in Lae, our partners, our players here in Port Moresby, the Rackets Club, our friends here, PNG Tennis, ITF as well, and OTF. So hopefully we'll be getting more awareness out there that tennis is growing, and there's a lot of potential also in tennis in Lae. And We've got a good team there. We've got a lot of good volunteers and committee there pushing the programs, creating opportunities for our children in Lae.
The LTC president expressed satisfaction to the teams, players and fans of Lae Tennis Club for making it to the games to ensure the tournament is going. He also extends gratitude to business houses and corporate sponsors for trusting Lae Tennis Club and throwing their support behind the tournament.
Stay tuned when we wrap up this episode with John Okul, former PNG international, who's made a name for himself in the British Super League club, the Hull Kingston Rovers. Former Highlands Zone representative and PNG international John Okul, who now lives in the UK, was recently in the country as part of the visiting Hull Kingston Rovers club officials to launch the groundbreaking partnership between the Port Moresby Vipers and the Hull Kingston Rovers Rugby League academic pathway. Okul made his international debut for the PNG Kumuls in 1994 and played in another 3 test matches, including 2 at the 1995 Rugby League World Cup in England. Following the World Cup, Okul, along with teammate Stanley Guinea, were signed up by Hull Kingston Rovers and are now club legends.
Ladies and gents, we're just about to get this program underway. We're just waiting for a few other dignitaries to arrive.
Former Highland Zone representative and PNG international John Okul is back in the country, this time as part of the Hull Kingston Rovers team that officiated a milestone partnership agreement with the Port Moresby Vipers Academy program. Okul was kind enough to spare a few minutes sharing his amazing rugby league journey, his passion for the game, and how he's embracing the Western culture. Starting up with the UK club in 1996, Okul now calls Hull his home away from home after almost 20 years. Okul from Barnes was the sensational best attack for the PNG Kumuls without a doubt. Kumul was the best centre of his generation and one of the best to have played for PNG on the international stage. Okul had brute strength, power and speed. Okul broke the jaw of Manly Warringah and Kangaroo number 7 Jeff Tuvey in 1991 in the famous bloodbath between the Highland Zone and the Australian Kangaroos. Prior to becoming a Kumul, Okul played for Foundation Morabe franchise Lae Bombers and the Highland Zone between 1991 and 1994. While playing in the Super League, Okul continued to represent the Kumuls on a number of occasions. He also represented PNG at the Super League World Nines in Fiji.
96 mla wala but midla seni goal salab emlong da tamili midla go stop go and then midla go come about test match also like midla go complain about and then I think after 95 96 2010 for nation mino come because makes you engineer salab so I'm stand come because Mangileno play. And then after that, we used to go come every year, come to the Dollar Village, and then go back to England, play Megosem. Stop laughing when I say, come up, ask place have now.
Okul was back in the country as part of the Hull Kingston Rovers team to officiate the partnership agreement between the Port Moresby Vipers Academy program, which coincided with the Vipers season launch at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium. Okul recalls the amount of communication and dialogue that took place between them and the Hull Kingston Rovers after the 1995 World Cup.
Because they that 95 World Cup, people go to England. Now all asking people changing more information. Then people come back again. 96, people go Fiji play super nice to Fiji. And now our two board of directors flew from England to Fiji. That when we signed a contract. So February 96, and then March of 96 we last then fly. The rest of history was okay.
While the rest is history, Okul admitted transiting to a new culture and the cold climate was a real challenge, let alone missing family back in PNG. Okul and fellow countrymen Stanley Guinea and Makali Aizue have made a big impact in the club's history as cult heroes with huge followings that have contributed immensely to the success of the iconic English club. He said fans there are just as crazy as Papua New Guineans about their rugby league.
We play here, people play here all day. Rugby side, rugby mad city. You got two team on the city. You got FC, all FC now, all Kingston Rovers. And people play me, Stenla. BLM Mark, Makali go. People play one time. Stop now. Then we go back in all supporters with us. Supporters. Oh, look at you. Oh, yeah, very crazy supporters. You know, they look after you. And everybody, you walk on the streets, they talk to you. All they talk about is rugby. It's like actually PNG. You feel as if you back in PNG where people only talk about rugby. Yeah, it was like that.
When asked about the new partnership now forged between Hull Kingston Rowers Club and the Port Moresby Vipers, Okul expressed so much satisfaction and joy, saying him and Guinea's influence at the club played a big part. This is the start of a new era and junior pathway not only for the Vipers but for the PNG Rugby League as a whole. Club legend John Okul expressed great joy and satisfaction that this will open new doors for young Papua New Guineans to go to school and play in England.
We will have lots of Papua New Guineans going that way. I can see it happening. Last World Cup, 2022 World Cup, we played well and the boys got seen by the Super League clubs. They got recruited, 8 or 9 of them there now. And I can see more PNG going over. But then it would be nice, even nicer, for the academy, young blokes, to go and play over there. Establish themselves, make a name for themselves there. I'm not looking back at the younger, the players who are there now, which is good. But they have to go through hoops to get to where they are, where you have to play so many tests. Regulations that you have to play so many tests before you can qualify to play. But with this scheme we've got going now, with the partnership, they will be classed as federation trained. So if they train there for 2 years, and if they do well, they won't be classed as overseas players. They're not on the quota. They'll be federation trained, so they're free. That's one good thing about it that I like about it. Where the players don't have to go through all the hoops to sign everything just to go and play there. You don't have to.
And that wraps up another edition of Scope. Thanks for your company. Good night.